Hello everyone, I'm Froggy, and in this video, I am going to be reviewing the CLASSIQ HD from Old Skool. So this is the HD version, so like it has HDMI, so it can play NES and SNES games. So here's the box. Just there's the box. So got the back of the box. So yeah. So basically, it is a HD 720p. Has aspect ratio and region switches. But that's probably useless because like, who wants their games to be stretched? I'm glad. So yeah, you don't actually need to set your TV to 4:3 because some TVs nowadays don't even have 4:3 aspect ratio. But it'll go through a 4:3 on the system, but like it'll still put like the black at the side, so like it won't be stretched. And then you can switch it so it is stretched. But I don't see why anybody would want that. Anyways, yeah, you can play NES and SNES games. It also uses AV out, so you hook it up to an SD, hook it to an SD TV, or an HD TV. I have an HD and an SD. Anyways.
It's ridiculous. I do. No, you don't. Because I sit on the every single day. So don't tell me you do.
Alright, touchscreen was having issues. It wouldn't register my touch. Anyways, that's what was going on before. Anyways, so, yeah. Let's open it up. Now, I actually have already opened this, so, like, I just put everything back in the box, so let's open it up, and, see what's in it. So we're gonna open it up. So inside, we got, it should come with all this. So inside, we got the system itself. So let's go ahead and talk about the system. So on the front, you got your NES and SNES controller ports. On the top, you got your power switch and reset switch. So like it's on, so it sets it off. When it's in the middle, it's on off. You push it up. That tells it to read NES right there. And when you turn it to, SNES, so then it reads SNES games in the SNES slot. So yeah, you got your NES and SNES cartridge slots. On the back, you got your aspect ratio switch, which is useless because who wants their games to be stretched? Not me. So I always just keep on a 4:3. You got your DC in, so it's just like micro USB, and then you got your composite video, red, your composite yellow, red, and white for SD, SD TVs, and HDMI out for HD TVs. Heck. Okay, that was stupid. Anyways, and on the bottom, one last thing. You got your region switch. You got NTSC and PAL. But I have an NTSC because, well, when it's on PAL, it doesn't read my games. So, yeah. So, that's the system. Now, let's get into the other stuff. It's got a power cable. It's the, basic USB, micro USB. So you got your USB, micro USB that plugs in, and then you got your little brick. So like the USB goes in here and plugs into the wall. Or I'm assuming you could use some like plug it into anything else with a USB, like you know, like a rechargeable battery pack, perhaps. I haven't actually tested that out yet. I am going to though. So yeah, that's that. And next we got HDMI cable. So all the stuff that came with it. HDMI cable for HD. Now you got it comes with 2 controllers, one for SNES games and one for NES games. So starting with the NES controller, it actually uses the dog bone. Let me just unravel this. It actually uses the dog bone like design. That's the controller that came with the NES top loader. Was a new design of the controller, and it was a they called the dog bone. It looks like a dog bone. So yeah, but it's not actually like official. It's it's like classic, branded right there, and it's okay. Like it does feel cheap, but and then you got the NES controller type. You can also use the SNES controller with NES games on this, but you can't use NES. You can't use the NES controller with Super Nintendo, which makes sense because it doesn't have enough buttons, while the SNES controller has more than enough buttons. But that's that. And here we got the SNES, which is again, classic. It says classic on it because that's what the system. And then, it just looks like the SNES. And then you got, and the connection. And also another thing, these controllers work with the official systems. I tried it out. This works with the NES, original NES, and this works with the original Super Nintendo. It is cool, but I have original controllers. In fact, I got 2 official branded NES controllers. They're not the dog bone. They're just like this rectangle. And 2 official branded Super Nintendo. So that's that. So I don't really use those. I just use the official controllers because they work with official controllers. Next, we got the AV, the composite cable that comes with, or SD TVs. So that's it. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna throw it at the camera like I did the other video, Super Nintendo video. I did that. And then one last thing, we got the manual, which is in 3 different languages. Those languages being English, Spanish, and French. So inside it just talks to you like everything that comes with it. What to do and stuff. It's really simple. It's just like 2 or 3 pages. Yes, it's like 2 pages. It's very simple. Heck, you don't even. It's useless. Really, you don't even need to like read the manual. It was like electronics. Okay, so before I hook up the system, I'm gonna talk about the pros and cons of the system, because this system is not perfect. I'm gonna tell you that it is not perfect. Perfect. If you want perfect, you're gonna want to play it on. You want to play your games on original hardware, which I actually have. I have an NES and SNES. They're both working, hooked up to this SD CRT here. So that. So let's talk about the pros and cons of this device. So one thing is so on the NES, the picture's great. Some of the colors are a little bit too bright, but I don't really care. But the sound, you see, the sound. I noticed that sounds that originally like sound like doom 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 are now kind of sounding like ding 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 ding. So if you know what I'm talking about. So the sound's weird. Now certain sound effects will sound normal, like the Duck Hunt song sounds normal, but then like when you get a power of Mario, it sounds so off. But and then other sounds will be just right, and other sounds will be so off, almost as if they did it on purpose. Now, do I mind that? If I didn't have an original NES, I probably would. But if you want to play it in HD on an HD TV, you know, it's awesome. Another thing, now the SNES sound is perfect, almost like pretty much perfect. Like, it doesn't seem like there's as much bass to it. Anyways, the SNES sound is perfect, but the video on the SNES is weird. So it's like you know, video on this is great, but the sound is weird. Video on this is weird, but the sound is great. It's weird. Anyways, like the sound on the video on this is kind of like black. It's instead of black, it's like has a little yellow hue to it, and it's like kind of staticky, sort of. Does that make sense? I don't know, but it still is awesome. The picture's still great. I mean, the picture's still awesome. I mean, I still like the picture. So, you know. Man, it's hot in this room. Anyways, another thing. When I hooked this up to a CRT, put in Mario Duck Hunt, selected Duck Hunt, plugged in a zapper, it still didn't work. You see, this thing isn't really like fast enough. A lot of times, it would just, instead of flash white, it would just flash black, and it wasn't fast enough to flash, and so the zapper couldn't pick anything up, even on a CRT. So you can't do games that use the zapper on this. But I mean, if I'm gonna play it on a CRT, I'm just gonna use my NES, which can do it. And besides, I only play this thing on HD TVs, and HD TVs can't do it anyways. You know, like you hook up an NES to an HD TV, which looks horrific. Looks so bad it's not even worth playing. It's still not gonna work because the zapper, for some reason, can't pick it up, even if it's on LCD. It can only pick it up on CRT and not on this. I don't know of other things. But yeah, I didn't even know systems like these even had HDMI. There's a version that doesn't, but this version does, and that's the only reason I got it. So yeah, pros and cons. So it's definitely not perfect, but it's still great. So I'll probably give it a 3.5, 3 stars and a half of a star. Is that good? It's still. So yeah, it's okay. It's still worth playing, in my opinion. Of course, there's gonna be people who are more OCD and are gonna think that this thing is trash and throw it in the trash and believe that it belongs in the trash. But now, hook it up and play it. You know what I mean? Now it might stop while I'm playing, and if it does, then I'll just cut that part out and then just make a separate video. So, it might stop and it might not. So, if it does stop, bye.